So what we want to talk about here is how you can actually leverage this broader ecosystem. So I showed you this interesting WebEx app that we've built within our own team that allows Eloqua to connect into WebEx. But what we want to do now is show some examples of third parties who have actually built some really, really exciting integrations into the Oracle Marketing Cloud. So now what we want to do is actually show you how you can start to better improve how you see the experience of your customers and how your customers can actually choose their own experiences. Steve?
So let me talk to you for a second about customer preference management. This is something that we believe pretty strongly is an important part of digital marketing. Yeah, there's the messaging the customer. There's also the listening to what messages the customer wants. And if you give them the chance, it turns out they can do you a big favor. And I want to show you an example of that. What we're going to do is we're going to go and show a video from a company called PossibleNOW, which is one of our App Cloud partners. The key is they are an enterprise preference management solution, and what that means is they put the marketer in control of creating the preference experience. They're treating it in many ways like a campaign, and then their back end is a single repository that is built for regulatory compliance of managing preference data. So the whole goal here is to say, instead of having 6 preference centers split across regions and brands and apps and such, there's one way to collect this data. It's under the marketer's control, and then there's a safe place for it to go. So let's go and actually see how this works. We're going to go and look at the builder inside the PossibleNOW interface. And what you're seeing here is the creation of a preference center. Marketer can get in here and can actually define how they want to ask end customers to raise their hands and say, this is what I want, this is the channels I want to be contacted in. And the key here is we all get it. Your business changes over time. You want the ability to be able to go and change how you listen, how you let customers correct you on the fly as marketers without having to call IT. So a very high-touch tool for that. We're going to go and take an example of what does this look like for the customer. We're going to do it with our friend Greg again. Greg had purchased those Durham 85 brand jeans last time we saw him, and it turns out when he did so, he pretty much went and opted in to almost everything. I don't know that he was fully thinking about it at the time, but look at all those green things. He's given his phone number. Go for it, Greg. And having done that, he's decided that he's gotten emails that maybe aren't so much to his liking. In this case, it's the Quad D Denim Day deal something or other. These are starting to come every day, and Greg is saying to himself, I don't know about that. So he's clicked through on the link to change his preferences, and you'll notice here, he's not just saying, I want to unsubscribe. He's been given the choice to go back through and say, these are the things I do want, these are the things I don't want. And you'll notice here that he's ended up saying, I still do want one kind of notification, but I don't want the rest. And the important lesson about this, along with the fact that, hey, that's the preference center that the marketer created, and it works on a mobile phone, it works on a desktop, it can work in lots of other environments, that's part of the value proposition. The key here is that I haven't opted out, and for the marketer, what that means is when you give people the choice to opt down, they take it. That's real data from a PossibleNOW customer that compares the top line opt-downs versus opt-outs. We have so many customers who the only thing they do is allow unsubscribe that they'll go and lose somebody like a Greg Smith because the person just wasn't paying attention when they originally bought. They opted into a bunch of stuff. They say unsubscribe, end of relationship. In this case, if you let them opt down, they will. It is a complete win-win for the marketer and the customer because the marketer gets to keep the customer on the list, and more importantly, the customer says, this is what I want. At the end of the day, the marketer doesn't want to give you stuff that you don't want. So it's great for the marketer, and then for Greg, of course, he is getting what he wants. So that's the win for there. Now, I think, John, you've got one more of these.
I do have one more, and what we're actually also excited about is that PossibleNOW is going to start to integrate into Eloqua as well, so all that preference center capability will be available into Eloqua customers too.